only, so try not to be too critical. All right. I also wrote it in my phone, so just give me a second. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Katie and her family, and my family, and everyone involved that helped make this wedding possible. It's amazing. Just look around. It's awesome. I just say bacon wrapped in scallops. I mean, actually, no, scallops wrapped in bacon on this one, but yeah, whatever. So, yeah. Katie, you look stunning, by the way. And Gavin, Gavin looks good too. I'm gonna give it to him, yeah. So, Gavin and Katie, they met in Kosovo, as many of you know, and they actually met in a peace and conflict program. So hopefully they can apply much of what they learned to the combats of marriage. And I was told when writing this speech to share your story about Gavin, and I have many stories, but I can only think of one that was appropriate for the occasion. So he's heard it a million times, and hopefully it's the last time he has to hear it because he hates hearing it. But back in Connecticut, almost 20 years ago, my mom was outside painting a fence. And then little 5-year-old Gavin came over to help her paint the fence. And within 5 minutes, he just drops the paintbrush and starts walking away. And then my mom says, "Gavin, where are you going?" And then his response was just, "This is a waste of my brain power." Gavin was never asked to paint a fence again. No. But I think a lot of parents would have reacted differently in that situation. They might have thought, "Oh, look at this arrogant child who doesn't appreciate the hard work of manual labor, and I need to work him extra hard so he gets it." But she didn't react that way, and I think it's very good, because if you try to force someone to do something they don't want to do, they're never going to be able to excel at it, and you're just going to be wasting that person's time. So it's good that we found out at an early stage that manual labor was not Gavin's niche. But if you put a computer in front of him, he'll do incredible things. So I hope you raise your child in a similar way, not forcing expectations on them, but allowing them to explore all aspects of life and creative thinking and letting them find their own vocation. Because the number one regret that people have towards the end of their life is that they lived a life that wasn't true to themselves. And it was a life that was based on the expectations of others. So, Katie, I haven't known you for a very long time, but during the short time that I have known you, I can tell that you're an amazing person. You're someone that's full of life and positive energy, and you can see that energy just radiating off her, just being in her presence. And she's clearly not someone that gets vexed over trivial matters. So, that being said, Gavin, I don't know how you did it. I don't know what's going on. But I hope he understands how lucky he is to have you as a wife. And I think that Katie has helped to bring the man out of Gavin, and not the man in the traditional sense of this huge masculine guy that can chop down trees in one swing and replace the carburetor within seconds in a car or something. But I think the real characteristic of a man is about being selfless and putting the happiness of the ones you love before the happiness of yourself. Because from the time we were born and all the way through adolescence and even adulthood, every decision we make as an attempt to achieve happiness, as if it's a sort of possession or something we can hold on to, but we can't. That's not what it is. So, seeking stimulation and material things can never provide a long-term happiness, because we're humans and we adapt to the things around us. And there's a prominent psychologist, I forgot their name, and when I wrote this speech, I didn't have Wi-Fi, so I couldn't Google it up. But I remember the quote, and it goes, if I were to try to measure the happiness of someone, I wouldn't ask them about their job or where they live or their social status. I would ask them about the relationships that they have with the people around them and how strong those relationships are. And I look around and I see a room full of loving and supportive people who will not leave you guys alone during your endeavors. So you guys are gonna have a lot of really good times together, And you're going to have a lot of bad times too, but it doesn't matter. Because it's not about what happens to you, it's about how you react to it. And as long as your main focus and concern is the happiness of the other person, then you can never be sad, at least not for long. And I want to end this speech with a poem titled Attitude by Charles Swindoll, and I think we can all learn something from it. So it goes like this. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It is more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than successes, than what other people think, say, or do. It is more important than parents' giftedness or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is that we have a choice every day regarding the attitude that we will embrace for that day. We cannot change the past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are all in charge of our attitudes. Thank you.